What is happening, everyone? Chris here with another video, and in today's video I'm going to cover everything that has happened with the Mustang, so let's get into that. So I just actually got back from the alignment shop after coming to the gym, and that's when I decided to make this video, kind of just gather my thoughts on what I wanted to talk about and how I was going to say it. It took them 2 hours to align this car, which I went to I think 4 or 5 different shops just to get this car aligned. And I understand most shops, from what they explained to me, which is true, that their alignment machines only go to factory spec for these cars. Now, this car has the caster camber plates from Maximum Motorsports. It has the offset rack bushings by Steeda, or just offset rack bushings itself, so I don't think a brand name really matters for that. And it has the bump steer kit from Team Z Motorsports that match up to the Team Z tubular front control arms and rear. And the rear also has the Team Z Street Beast upper and lowers with the, I believe it's Steeda or Team Z polyurethane bushings for the top of the casing. But again, that doesn't really matter for the rear. What we're focusing on is the front for this car. So this car is paired with the Viking coilovers in the front and rear from UPR, and it's not slammed, as you can see, and it's been lower before in the past. I actually do have pictures on my social media of that. The car has rubbed. Actually, if you come here, you can still see right under there where the tire used to rub. Now, not this tire, these previous set of tires I was on this, so we had to raise it up. It has a BBK X pipe, which BBK isn't the greatest exhaust, but it works well for the Coyote swap. They were I think the first or second ones to do it, and their X pipes usually hang pretty low. We got it as high as it would go, and it still kind of hangs low. It doesn't scrape, which over speed bumps, which I'm glad, but the oil pan does sit a little low too. So overall, I like the height. I could go a little lower, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to risk anything hitting the oil pan, because that happened in the previous setup I had with this. It didn't damage it enough to do cause any real bad damage of leakage or anything, but there was it did scrape, let's just put it that way. So it's perfect as it sits. And as I was saying, it took 4 or 5 shops from me driving or calling to visit these places, and them to basically turn me away because they didn't want to deal with it. Now, I finally found R&R Tire. I don't know if there's other R&R tires in different states. There's a couple locations in Richmond, Virginia, where I got it aligned, and I guess it just left hand marks on the bumper, which is fine. I'll wash it, not a big deal. So it took them basically 2 hours to align this. Now, I have a Maximum Motorsports steering shaft as well, that replaced the factory one a couple years ago, and they had a big issue with that. Now, the steering wheel was straight itself. It was already set straight. They believed that there was something wrong with that. Then they had questioned the steering rack and thought I had hit something, because there's nothing that shows that I hit anything, because I haven't, but they were assuming that because the toe was out so far, the steering rack was having an issue or something. So they just had a really hard time aligning this, and the Maximum Motorsports caster camber plates are the most universal from what I've read, and that's why I bought them. They're a really good suspension company, and they're the most friendly to kind of use because they allow you to almost dial it back into a factory setting, and the bump steer kit makes it a lot easier to dial in the toe and stuff like that. So it took them 2 hours to do it. $140 out the door. They charge $140 per hour, but I think they kind of just I only paid $140 to have everything done, I guess, because the guy either saw that I was a little frustrated, or I guess this is the first time I had been there. I don't know. I was grateful for that, at least, but I didn't understand why it was such a difficult time to align this. I've had other shops, like a Firestone or something like that, align this pretty well, and I tried to go to them, but the guy that now runs it to the one that I used to go to said he didn't want to mess with this. So that is that story on that. The tent came in from Amazon. Surprisingly, it took about a week for this, so hopefully over the weekend or sometime I can just tint this to match that. So for that to basically match the third brake light, and along with this side too. So that will be set up. As you can see, the side markers have already been done a few years ago. And clean this car up. And the next thing that I want to do is tackle getting this painted, because I'm still planning to attend Mustang Week with this car. I don't think I'm gonna go for the entire time, but I want to hit basically maybe Wednesday to Saturday, the big event days and stuff like that. I don't really care about the pre-meetups and all that. At least want to take this car down. The last time this car was at Mustang Week was in 2016. The first year that I did a Coyote swap to this, and this version of the Coyote swap going around the second time, much cleaner, much better in my opinion, and I know a lot more about it. This setup is way better. So I had the 3650 back then. Now I have a T56, which is a much more stout transmission. The car looks better in my opinion, minus the unpainted hood, minus these just little things. I'm gonna pop these sail panels and just clean the car overall. But getting back into this, I'm not gonna have time to get the tent removed and all that. I honestly don't care about it. But I'm just gonna fix the fog lights, put the fender liners back in, paint the hood, and the center console. Yeah, cover the center console. So I actually found somebody on I think Marketplace or whatever that is going to send me a center console. As you can see, this one is kind of just in there. The reason I have it in there was to kind of just, I don't know, have an armrest if you want to say. But clean this all up and have that all together, and that will basically be it. And the other thing that I want after Mustang Week, I want to tackle the tent and the sound system in this car. I want to get a newer radio and just replace the speakers. I don't want to sub or anything in here. But yeah, that's basically it overall. Touching everything on the car. That's the update, if you want to call it, video, and everything that's happened this week. Got the car inspected, tagged, so it's ready to go. It's already been insured, of course. And oh yeah, ordered the UPR drive shaft spacer. I really don't need it, but we're gonna put it in anyways. I've already ordered it. Should be here today actually. I ordered it Monday, and just a little peace of mind. And figured out the sound that the car was making. It was actually when I took it to Discount Tire, the location in Richmond, Midlothian or whatever, they're the first ones in this area of the Tri-Cities to get an alignment rack, from my knowledge. And when they put it on the rack, I believe that they tried to attempt to align it, and they couldn't, and they smashed not one but both sides of the brake dust covers against the rotors. So that's what was causing that sound to echo basically back and forth up through the tunnel, since it's not covered with everything there, being the center console is not completely in, which made me think it was the drive shaft or something. So I figured that out yesterday, and glad it's not broken or anything. So overall, ready to go. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate every single one of you stopping by and checking out the newer videos that I've been posting. I know a lot of them are kind of in the couple hundred views, and this channel is super small, but I appreciate every single one of you that are a return viewer, or if you're just new and you're enjoying this small of a channel, you know, YouTube content on a Coyote swap and the other projects that I have on the channel already and ongoing, and future ones coming. So I appreciate that. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe.